Today I'm going to share with you optimal nutrition to nourish your body in pregnancy. Nutrition can be so confusing. What to eat, what not to eat. My name is Jane Palmer. I'm a midwife, director of Pregnancy, Birth and Beyond, and author of the best-selling book Preparing for Birth Mothers. If you're new to our YouTube channel, we'd love for you to hit the subscribe button below. Today I'm going to offer you some tips on how to achieve optimal health in your pregnancy. This is a summary only. There's so much information I could share with you about nutrition, but I decided just to provide you some bullet points to keep it really simple. You probably come up against some well-meaning advice that's often not evidence-based, or it's simply just outdated. I'm going to give you up-to-date information on nutrition. Now, nourishing your body in pregnancy helps you improve your health and helps ensure you grow the healthiest baby possible. Now, first I'd like to dispel the myth about eating for two. Women sometimes assume, or they've been told, that they need to eat significantly more calories to be healthy in pregnancy, and this simply is just not the case. You really only need to eat a small amount more to meet your daily energy needs in pregnancy. Now, what to eat? Before I get on to what to eat, let's look at what not to eat. When looking at what not to eat, one of those things is high-risk foods. And what I mean by high-risk foods, these are foods that carry a higher risk of containing bacteria that can be harmful to a mother and, more importantly, her baby. So foods to avoid in pregnancy include our soft mouldy cheeses, raw meats and raw seafoods. Any meat must be cooked all the way through. Smoked seafood, pate, cold meats such as salami, soft serve ice cream, that's ice cream out of that comes in a machine, put in a cup. Foods from salad bars and raw sprouts. You can have sprouts if they're cooked but not raw. Obviously, the other thing to avoid in pregnancy is processed and refined foods. As I'd say to my kids, these are sometimes foods, very sometimes, because they retain no nutritional value and actually contain high trans fatty acids, often high in salt and sugar. So not good for us at all. And obviously in pregnancy we want to avoid smoking. Obviously smoking is harmful. Alcohol, there's been no safe level of alcohol found for pregnancy. And caffeine, while you don't have to avoid it totally, you want to make sure you limit the amount of caffeine. And we've got a great article on our website pregnancy.com.au about which levels of caffeine are safe. All right, well, that's what not to eat, but what do you eat to nourish your body in pregnancy? And look, what you really want to do is look at the quality of food that you're eating. You want to purchase food in season, fruit and vegetable in season, higher in nutritional value, organic if possible, fresh, whole foods is what you're aiming for. Now, I like to talk about the nutrients that help ensure a healthy pregnancy, and there's lots and lots of these. I'm only going to focus on a few today. One of those is protein. You're growing a baby, so you need more protein in your diet. Now, it doesn't have to come from animal sources for vegetarians out there, but if you do eat meat, make sure it's lean, grass-fed beef if possible, or chicken or fish. Fish is recommended 3 times a week. Eggs are great. Obviously hard cheeses are not a problem. Just remember being really wary of your soft cheeses. Nut butters. And for vegetarians, there's lots of legumes and lentils and those sorts of things out there that you can include in your diet. All right, low carbohydrate veggies. These are the things that should make up the majority of your diet, and preferably at every meal if you can. So lots of green leafy stuff, which is pictured here. It doesn't just have to be green leafy, but this is a good selection of different sorts of salad veggies. Don't forget tomatoes and capsicum. You can have carrot, a little bit of pumpkin, beets. There's a whole lot of other veggies that are included in this low carbohydrate veggie group. And yeah, as I said, these are the most important things. And fats, of course, we all need fats in our diet, but we want to make sure that they're good fat. And particularly omega-3 is very helpful in pregnancy, and fish that contain omega-3, salmon, sardines, any fishes that have come from really cold water contain high levels of omega-3. But obviously you can get fats from avocado, which is great, nuts, seeds, and and if you have oil, make sure it's cold pressed oil, good quality, something like cold pressed olive oil. And calcium is really important. Now, you don't just get calcium from dairy. One of the best sources of calcium, interestingly enough, is fish with bones. A lot of women turn their nose up at that. But yes, sardines or salmon, tin salmon, contain great levels of calcium. Not only that, I mean, you can get calcium again from nuts and seeds. There's chia seeds down the bottom, one of my favourite, and green leafies contain a lot of calcium as well. You can see cottage cheese here. If you do choose to eat cottage cheese, make sure you eat it within 2 days of opening. It's not safe to store it any longer when you're pregnant. It's fine when you're not pregnant, but when you're pregnant, don't store it for longer than 2 days. Folic acid is another really important vitamin that helps form the neural tube, which is the tube around the spinal cord and the baby's brain. And what you need is good levels of folic acid. So if you're planning on pregnancy, it's recommended to take a supplement for 3 months beforehand. If it's unplanned, well, it's not much you can do. You just start taking folic acid as soon as you know you're pregnant. Now, you can get folic acid. A lot of our foods are fortified in folic acid, but you can get lots of folic acid naturally in your diet through, again, green leafy vegetables, nuts, seeds, avocado, some of the citrus foods. You can see liver featured here. I don't recommend liver at all in pregnancy because it has quite a high vitamin A content, which potentially could be harmful. So don't eat liver. All right, and iron. Women often have really a lot of difficulty maintaining their iron stores. The best source of iron is red meats, but if you don't eat red meat, fish or chicken is next. But if you don't eat animal products, you can obviously get iron through other foods, such as, again, green leafies, broccoli has pretty good levels, Brussels sprouts, but also nuts, seeds and mushrooms. Sure. Now, this is a concept I really like when planning a meal. It's very simple. When planning a meal, you break your plate. This is a plate, so imagine it's a dinner plate. You break your plate into half, and that should contain half of non-starchy veggies. So I've featured some non-starchy veggies in this plate. So up to 2 or more cups of non-starchy vegetables on your plate. Then for the rest of your plate, you break that up into quarters, and so a quarter of your plate is protein, so somewhere around 85 to 100 grams of protein, and on the other quarter of your plate is your carbohydrate food, so good whole grain, whole meal, and keep that to about half to 1 cup of carbohydrate veggies. And finally, the most important thing is to stay well hydrated. Water, good quality filtered water. If you don't like water, like in this picture, they've put some lemon and some cucumber and mint to spice up the water to make it more palatable. One of the things I do every morning is have a glass of filtered water with some lemon juice and some grated ginger as a start to my day. Particularly if you're feeling nauseous, that may actually help with your nausea. So drink up to about 2 litres a day. Herbal teas are another option. You must stick with the safe herbal teas, so ones that we feel are reasonably safe are peppermint, ginger, green tea or chamomile. Be really wary of store-bought fruit juices. These tend to be really high in sugar. So I would, if you do a freshly squeezed juice, but again in moderation, because fruit juice does contain a lot of sugar. Well, that's it from me today. I hope you found this useful. Now, remember the things to avoid. Avoid, obviously, the high-risk foods, alcohol, smoking, and limiting your caffeine. When you're planning your meals, choose foods that are fresh, in season, organic if possible. Fresh whole foods are best. Consider using the plate concept. I find that the best way to make sure you're getting the right mix of foods. and obviously staying really well hydrated. If you want to find out more about nutrition, just jump across to our website at pregnancy.com.au. We've got tons of articles there for you to learn more, or even better still, purchase a copy of my book Preparing for Birth Mothers. It has a great section on nutrition and has that plate concept in it. To make it easier, I pop links to the nutrition section in our website, and I've also popped a link to where to purchase Preparing for Birth Mothers in the description below. Well, that's it from me for this week, and we hope to do this or make this a weekly event, so come join us next week for our next video. Great. That's it. Bye.